Right.
Do you clap again, mate?
Right, there we go. That'll be easier to do. So, welcome everyone to the Yorkshire Lads podcast. We've got a different guest today.
Hi guys.
Mr. CH Productions.
Alright, fella.
Yeah, not too bad, Mr. CH Productions himself.
Yeah. What have you been up to today?
I've been training today, as usual. That's all I ever do.
All day, every day?
Yeah, training, teaching, video editing.
All at the same time?
Eating's a big one as well. I like to eat, so yeah.
All at the same time?
Yeah, it's been a busy day. Just been taking some fighters to Gorilla MMA in Grimsby. Do some training with David Paddington. Shout out to him straight away. Look, straight off the bat.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Been a busy day. So, and then now we're here.
Yeah.
Podcast.
Thank you for coming on.
It's all right.
Appreciate it. You've got a shout out to do.
I do, yeah. They asked me at work. Someone called Christy.
Oh, there.
Oops.
Don't get it wrong.
Hiya. You right?
Thanks for watching, Krusty Kirsty.
Yeah.
Krusty Kirsty. It's not a great name.
Thanks for subscribing as well.
Yeah.
And we would also like to thank everyone that's subscribed so far.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I would just like to ask everyone else to subscribe.
Yeah, because we've got 119 likes on Facebook page, but then I put on nearly every day, like, please subscribe to the channel. Like, I'm begging.
Nah, you're not begging. You've got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Someone's got to subscribe, so
And
you lot may as well do it.
Yeah, just do it now.
No.
We've got an MMA coach here, so...
Hey, don't be bringing me into it. I'm trying to get my own subscribers, never mind. Bloody hell.
Yeah. So, you've been down training at Grimsby Gorilla?
Yeah, just doing some footwork, angle drills.
Have you been there before?
No, but I've known David a while. I've known David, I don't even know how many years, but quite a few.
Oh, nice.
He's a good dude, very good coach. He's a bit like my family. He's a family of fighters. He trains his sons, so kind of a bit like how we were. So.
Yeah. So, like, staying with that, we'll go to the beginning of your MMA life, if you don't mind.
Well, my mum and dad trained when they were when we were kids. We all started in Taekwondo.
All right.
You know, patterns and all that kind of stuff. Really enjoyed that, actually, to be fair, and it's a really good base for the way I like to strike anyway. Mm-hmm. That's going a little bit off course. We started, I'm trying to think, I don't know where my mum and dad started, but we, as far as I can remember back, we started in Kim Stone's Taekwondo Academy in town. Then we moved with Andy Crittenden. He was officially my first ever coach. Andy Crittenden, really, really good Taekwondo coach. And then when I got a black, I got second dan black belt in that, and a first dan in kickboxing, and then moved to MMA. My dad started teaching the MMA classes, but back then we called it Vale-Tudo classes because the purest form of MMA, as we know it today, is Vale-Tudo, which actually last night a show in Poland did a Vale-Tudo show.
Yeah, I saw it on...
It's bare knuckle, there's headbutts, soccer kicks, no like time, there's no cage or anything, it's like an open pit kind of thing. Obviously at 10 years old I wasn't doing them. It was a lot more controlled.
Well, it is Rosso, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, we were in Bulby at the time.
That's all right.
I mean, that's probably worse.
Oh, yeah.
But my first real memory of MMA was we did. So there's a show called The Ultimate Fighter, which I don't know if you've watched it.
No.
But it's like the reality TV show of MMA. So, like the first ever season of that was the coaches were Chuck Liddell and Randy Couture, who were two of the biggest legends of MMA. And then, so basically, like they live in a house together. They're in two teams. They train. Then they have to fight. And it's like a knockout until you get to the final.
Yeah.
And basically what we did at the gym when we were in Balby was we had enough kids, all different sizes. Like I was in year 6, so I'd have been like 10 or 11 or something. And we did an Ultimate Fighter. I've got it all on my laptop and everything. I'll send you
I'll put some of it.
And we basically did an Ultimate Fighter. It was Team Halliday, my dad, versus Team Crittenden. Which obviously straight away put in a little bit of animosity between us 4 kids, because there's me, I've got an older brother Sam, who's up there, an older sister Megan, and a younger sister Shannon. So from there it had to be 2 years on Crittenden's team, 2 years on Halliday's. So we just I think we pulled out our hat or whatever. Sam and Shannon were on Dad's team, me and Megan were on Andy Crittenden's team. Yeah, and to be honest, I thought all four of us were going to end up in the finals, and none of us did, which was quite a shock. But that was my favourite memory of MMA, like from being a kid. Like we all got to spar with each other and fight with each other, and then we did a big show in the gym, which I turned up late for because I was on my year 6 trip. My granddad picked me up, and it's really funny on the DVD. It's halfway. I think we're halfway through the show, and then I just get dragged across the room into the back to get changed and get ready. And then from there I think we were probably about 11 or 12, something like that. My mum and dad, along with my uncle and one of my dad's friends, got a gym in Rosso, big gym down the village, called Outcast MMA. That was our first proper gym that we had. Everyone fought out of there, and then we were there for a couple of years. I don't know really what happened with that, and then I had a couple of years off. I was at school, being a teenager, smoking weed all the time. The usual Rosso gist.
So going back, so you say that your mum and dad fought?
Was that when you? Yeah, not with each other. My dad. It's weird because like back in the day, not a lot of stuff went off that people didn't know about. So when it comes to MMA, it's really cool to talk to a lot of the older people in the fight game because they remember it all and they've seen it all. Like my dad had however many fights, I don't really know how many. My mum was one of the first females in the UK to fight.
Do you remember going to see?
Yeah, I remember going to see. I can remember my mum's first fight. It was on my dad's fight show, which I'll take you back to my dad's fight show later. But that fight, the first fight, my mum was 32, 33, something like that. And she fought someone called Sabrina, the Teenage Bitch, was her fight name. And my mum won that, and I think it was by armbar she won by. And it was crazy. It was the weirdest feeling ever. Yeah. Shouting your mum to punch someone else in the face. It was.
Did you feel scared for her?
No, because I think we'd been around it that much. It weren't really.
Yeah, because I can't imagine like my mum, like know, for me my mum's quite like a gentle.
But the weirdest part is like my mum and dad, like I'm more scared of my mum than I am my dad. Without doubt, everyone else is more scared of my dad. But
yeah, I am.
Like my mum, they are both. Like it'll be the same with anybody from martial arts. They might be scary in a fight. And they might be tough and all that, but they're all nice people.
Yeah.
Like you've come with me for promos and filming and all that kind of stuff. They're all nice.
Yeah,
everyone's really glad. Like we filmed with Rico. Yeah, the hardest man in the UK.
It's quite strange really, because like when you speak to sort of even semi-pro footballers who aren't like anything yet, their attitude towards people is completely different to even a bare knuckle boxers. They're very like shut off from people, whereas like speaking to Rico and stuff, he seems like just laid back, he's chill,
nice people. And it's the same with my mum and dad, and like watching them fight was crazy. My dad's last fight that he ever had, he was running. I'll tell you about his show. He ran a show called Stormforce back in the day. It started at Parkland Social Club. And that was amateur and semi-pro MMA as it was then. And basically we were on the third show, I think it was, and this guy called Sean Hammer Martin came from Liverpool for a fight. He came all the way to Donny and his opponent pulled out. And my dad, for whatever reason, could not find another fighter. Sean Martin at the time weighed 100 and whatever kilos, and my dad was 65 kilos. And then my dad took the fight on his own show against.
Is that the one
Martin. That's the pitch? The one where he's like.
I didn't know that was that Sean Hammer Martin though.
Yeah,
because I've seen him about.
He's another one. He's a giant monster, but he's a really nice dude at the same time. And they had that fight. That's the last time my dad had a fight, and I can't really remember the last time my mum had a fight. But
there seems to be like a spirit behind the unit sort of fighters, and it's that like they don't give up. Like I've noticed that from all the fighters, and there's just like everyone seems to be behind you. Like even I came for a session once, and your dad were running it, and it was just doing like burpees. Yeah. He like does this one where he does like 1, 2, 3, and then more and more on your way back. And I was like, towards the end, they were getting everyone to cheer me on, and I was like, you know what I mean? There's
that's
just
the thing. Like with our gym, so my gym that I run now is the Unit MMA. That's where we are now. with our nice setup. So when we first opened, because this is way after Outcast, we had Outcast, and then we had a bit of a break. Then we opened up in the community centre, which for us that was good. That's where we actually got everyone who started at the unit, and then we found this place. We've dolled it up a little bit now, but when we first opened, it was literally just the mats and some mirrors on the wall. That's literally all we had. But like when we first opened, it was just people that wanted to fight. Yeah. So it was a lot of. It wasn't smart training at all. Like, and I'll be happy to admit that. It was just a bit, you'd spar, basically.
Yeah, I remember you were at a fight show and you was telling me that you used to be like the one group that went outside and smoked.
Oh, literally, yeah, it was terrible. So a lot of us always, I was on about this actually earlier to David Paddington when we were training. All of us smoked back then as well, which don't smoke, kids, because it's bad for you. I obviously don't smoke anymore, but all of us used to smoke, so we'd be sparring. And we'd just go and have a fag break and we'll come back. It was just a really rough and tough kind of gym. Yeah. And then the more the years have gone on, like, we are a very, very small gym, but we've had some absolutely fucking amazing fighters. Absolutely amazing fighters. Like people like my brother ended up on all the big professional shows.
I was showing you some of the fighters.
Yeah, ridiculously good. He's a little beast. And then Warren Mason came up with us. He was our brother as well. He pretty much lived with us since he was 15. Me and him went to school together. Again, one of the top amateur fighters. Brandon Elwell. You cannot find anybody tougher than Brandon Elwell. And this is all as we're all coming up. Jack Flanagan, who's still with us now. Yeah. Some people have gone their own ways, and that's absolutely fine. Never going to have an issue with that. You know, that's what you've got to do. You've got to get better for yourself. Yeah. But then now we're back. We're here now, and it's completely different to where we first opened. It's kind of dolled up a little bit now. We've got more equipment. We've got more people. I've got a lot more teenagers, which is the best part. Yeah. But last year, I took over, not officially, but like I'd been sacked from where I work. I say got sacked. They let me go. Went for a couple of interviews of places where I did journalism at uni. I went to a couple of journalism interviews and I just left. I was like, I do not fucking want to do that. Yeah. So like, I've got this gym. Let's make something of it. Because 2018 we were on our arse. It was quite hard to run. None of us were really putting in our time that we could have put in. Obviously, I were at uni and everything, so it was quite hard. And then obviously you've got to pay rent, and if no one's here, you can't pay rent.
Yeah, of course.
So I think it was like January last year I took over and started training everyone, like all the classes and everything, and it's just blown up. That's not my doing at all.
I mean,
it's putting the effort into people and they'll return it. Where it actually exploded was March last year. James Taylor and Jack Atherton both fought at the Dome on Cage Steel, and between them, both 15 years old at the time as well, between them they sold 100 tickets.
Wow.
And trying to get an adult to sell 100 tickets to their friends is impossible. And them two 15-year-olds did it, and that many people came to watch, and they both won. James won by armbar in the second round, sat on the cage screaming and everything. That moment was amazing. And then Jack won unanimous decision, just absolutely wrestled this kid about, threw him about.
Wow. See, I went to that Cage Steel night, and I remember thinking, because I was planning on coming to the unit, like eventually. Yeah. And I was like, oh, it's that. Like when they said Jack, I was like, oh, I think that's him. And then it was like, loads of people from that side of the room were just up, and I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, it was crazy. The day of the fight, I have this tradition of on the day of the fight, come down to the gym, loosen up a little bit, because you're not going to be fighting until about 7-8 o'clock anyway. No, like at the earliest, at most fight shows. So loosen up a little bit, get all the cobwebs off of you, and then we go out for food and whatever. Yeah. So we came down and I'm sorting the ticket money out for them. They didn't realise how much money they were going to make, you know what I mean? And I'm just there, I'm like, you've got about 400 quid each year. Wow. And they sold that many tickets, they both won, and then literally the Monday after, could not move in the gym. There were too many people, just because of Jack and James. So I like, for me personally, from a business standpoint, I've got to thank them too, because it's their doing. Like it's good. It's all I've put a lot of effort into the gym anyway, and that's fine. But it's the fighters that really sell the gym. People watch them fight, and because like before, everyone knew us as this, like, you can only train there if you want to fight kind of gym. Yeah. But then now it's it's like you've trained, it's friendly, everyone wants.
That's what. That's what I was just coming on to. Like compared to other gyms, like there's such like a family feel to it, and like I remember the first time I came in, everyone's like, "Hey, what's your name?" And you know what I mean. It's just, and you don't get that way at every other gym. I've been to two others.
You don't get it at every gym, like, and that's fine. But for me, like, if you don't enjoy when you've walked into the door, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like if you have to drag yourself to come to the gym, what's the point? Like, I'm never gonna make people fight, and if people come and they just want to stay fit, that's absolutely fine. I'm not gonna make them do it. Like, I don't even fight myself anymore, so I'm not gonna make anybody else do it. You know what I mean? So, and like I'd say a good 70% of the people that do train don't fight.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna have a problem with that. That's absolutely not an issue. As long as they enjoy it, that's the main thing. And that's why I'm so happy with all these teenagers that are coming down, because one, it keeps them from dossing on the streets and causing shit and whatever. Because obviously we've all been teenagers. I sound like I'm old here. Like when I was a teenager and I weren't training, I was just off smoking weed and fucking about and getting into trouble.
The Rosso life.
If Rosso life, pretty much, yeah. So if you can get teenagers down and they enjoy it and they want to keep coming, like, you know what I mean? That's the best part about it. And like with the gym as well, we know for a fact we're not going to be the best gym in the world. I know for a fact I'm not the best coach in the world, but I can use what I know to help other people, and if I can do that, then that's fine.
You still your best, don't you?
Exactly. That's the thing. But it's worked. It's worked so far. So like, I know for a fact I would never ever toot my own horn about being the best coach that there ever is, because I know for a fact I'm not. I know for a fact that somebody else could have a student that could probably beat me up, and that's absolutely fine. I don't care. I don't plan on fighting anyway, so...
Well, it's like John Kavanagh, you know, he's not the best fighter, he's not the...
You don't have to be. To be fair, most of the people that are the best coaches were shit fighters.
Exactly.
I mean, I weren't shit. I weren't shit when I fought, but like...
You said it!
But, like, I'm never going to toot my own horn to be the bee's knees, but if people enjoy training, then I'll take that. I'll take that over being the best gym anyway, to be honest.
Reputation for you as well.
Well, yeah, exactly. And
if your fighters perform well, you know.
Yeah, and I think if you've changed we've changed our perception of this, you can only come here if you want to fight, to everyone can come here. Yeah. Like our adults class is teenagers and adults, and the teenagers respect the adults respect the teenagers. And like that, and then you even get parents that come down, I might join in, and then they do. So I ain't gonna complain at that at all. So the gym's all good. I'm happy with it at the moment, and we're hoping to have a big year this year, so I want a title. That's what we want. We want a title this year. We will see. But,
Jack and James, though, they're unreal. I'm sure they'll. They're close to.
I think the one that will probably have the best chance of getting a title shot will probably be Megan, and that's because
there's not many.
It's the female part of MMA. There's not actually a lot of females that fight. You rack up a couple of wins and you're on your way. And she's fighting on February the 22nd at Almighty Fighting Championships at Bars of Metrodome. £35 ticket, please get one.
And she's a really entertaining fighter. As well.
She is.
Like she's not one of these that'll take you down and pin you down. She's one of them that'll stand and brawl.
Well, that's a good thing about the gym. Everyone knows you're in for an exciting fight.
Yeah.
Whether it is on the ground or
I mean, Jack. It takes him down, but he's active. You know, it's not a boring fight ever.
Little Jack will wrestle everyone. James will just ping people off.
Oh, it's amazing watching him fight. I feel like they look at him and they underestimate him because of his size, and then he gets in there. I can
tell you from personal experience, he hits very, very hard for a very skinny little lad. To be fair, and all of them do. Like, a lot of our fighters don't look like fucking shit. You know what I mean? They look like. Well, I walk into a room, I'm wearing glasses. And
and even like Sammy was quite small and like skinny, but when he started fighting, you're like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like,
well, you know what they say, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but like just on the last part of the gym, like this year, last year, 2019 as well. The kids, especially the teenagers, 5 of them we took to Rome for the first World Championship. My youngest sister Aisha, James Taylor, Jack Atherton, Dakota Flatters, and Isabel Lees, and we took them all to Rome. Fucking ridiculous amount of fundraising we had to fucking do for it. Ridiculous. And we decided to do the fundraiser, and it ended up being the fucking hottest day of the year in a pub. And so that were a nightmare. But then so we went to Rome in August, and that was just an amazing experience. There was a lot that the promotion themselves, the company, whatever they're called, can do the federation, that's probably the correct word, could do to make it a lot better for them. But it was the first one that they've ever done, and all of them came back with, you know, a great experience. The two youngest, Dakota and Isabel, came back with bronze medals. So yeah, you can't really go wrong with it. It was good, and they got to go to Italy. They got to go to Rome. So yeah, we've got a cool picture somewhere where we're all flexing. We're all flexing. That's a pretty cool photo.
Yeah, it's a good team picture.
Yeah, the gym's been bang on, especially like since last year. It's just absolutely got booming. So we're here for a big 2020 now. Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
If I can keep up with it, my brain's frazzled at the moment.
Yeah. But going back to sort of your mum and your dad, and do you feel like their coaching style has that influenced you in a way? Do you feel like you're similar to them, or have you sort of?
I think me and my dad are completely different at coaching, and that's not a bad thing, because every now and then my dad will coach a class, and they'll realise they've got it fucking easy when they've got me.
Yeah.
He's very old school, and that's a good thing. Like, you need a little bit of old school. You always need a little bit of old school, because it's tough. It's tough training, and if you can't get through a tough training session, how the fuck are you going to get through a tough fight?
Yeah, that's true.
My mum did coach, but not. I like, from my memory, I can't really remember her coaching me. I just know she was a good fighter. But yeah, my dad's very old school. Is probably the only word you can choose. But yeah. I think I have to take some of his stuff and use it, because end of the day, I can't be very laissez-faire all the time. Like, they're going to have to, and they realise it, they know some classes that are going to be tougher than the others. But I'm just trying to approach it just a little bit smarter, not than my dad, but like smarter in the ways of, if they can train hard, but they can train where they're not going to get injured and whatever. And it's working, so
that's good.
Yeah.
So, were your mum and dad obviously fighting? Did you feel pressure? You had to fight, or?
Well, I competed I started competing when I was like 6. So, and they never pressured me to do that. I really enjoyed. Yeah, I enjoyed it. So, and that were all taekwondo, points fighting, continuous, all that kind of shit. It was more the MMA side of things, really. When I was a kid, I always wanted to fight in MMA. But obviously, back then, there weren't any kids doing MMA. Like, if I were a kid now, I could fight every weekend, like what our kids were doing last year. But I didn't have an MMA fight until I was like 17, 18 or something like that. So I never felt pressured to fight. And like, so obviously Sam fought as well. He never got pressured. The thing with Sam Sam was that good at fighting that everybody wanted him to fight, but nobody obviously pressured him to do it. Like, that's good. He had his first cage fight when he were 13 at Donny Dome. At Donny Dome, so you know what I mean. And he used that as his platform to do something. And like, when he had a big break as well, pretty much the same time I did. And then when he came back, he turned pro, and as soon as he turned pro, everyone knew who he was. Yeah. And everyone does know who he is still now, even though he don't fight. So you know, he him
and Warren, they're the ones that stick to man.
When you think, to be fair, when you do think of our gym of the unit, then they're the two names you'll think of is Sam and Warren. And Warren were the same. He never got pressured into fighting, but I were in his year at school, and he did get into trouble, and that's what happened. But fighting, it just had this click in his head. And that's why he's so good now, because he's just been driven with it.
And he's so respectful as well. Like he's saying what we were on about earlier, going back to that, like, he's just proper chilled out guy. Like, you could be an arsehole and no one could do it.
Yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Wagga can be a massive arsehole, and he knows he can. But he was very good at coaching people or helping people who, like, he could coach someone who's better than him and teach them something, but then a beginner could come in and he could teach them just as well as
I mean, he's helped me out with some of the grappling and stuff like that before. And
he's a good lad, very good lad.
Yeah.
He should be proud of himself for where he got to so far, and hopefully it carries on.
So, So with your fighting, you're saying like you didn't go back to it, you had the huge gap, but Sam went back. Like, was there something deterring you from?
Oh no! After that break, I did go to. After the break, that's when I did start fighting again. Okay. My now break that I'm in now was when I went to uni.
Was that okay? I understand.
But I did my first year at uni and I got fat. I got proper fat. Like I'm walking around at about 70 kilo now, which is still quite heavy for me. But I think then I must have been about 80 kilos, an extra 10 kilos on top. But you could see it in my face, my neck, everything. And then that summer, between first and second year, I just got ripped. I just lost all the weight. I got ripped, and I did a couple of interclub fights and that.
Are they the ones with the plaited hair that I see?
No, they were my fights then. They were an hour 18, yeah.
Oh, were they?
The cornrows and that. No, the interclubs and that, that's with the spinny kick and all that kind of shit. The one that everyone fucking sends me all the time. But yeah, I had uni for 3 years, and then came back. I think I graduated 2018, and then I've pretty much been coaching for the entirety of 2019. And I would fight, and I'd like to fight. Don't get me wrong, but I'm too busy coaching.
Yeah.
Too busy coaching. I'm too busy doing CH production. So it's kind of just. I'd rather get the joy of watching somebody else win than have to fucking do it myself.
So you like to be trained.
I like to eat as well, so I'd rather just eat all the time. Like I'm probably gonna have a kebab when I leave here. So, but like you can't really explain the feeling of watching one of your people.
Yeah.
Succeed in what they're doing. Like that March show with Jack and James was probably the highlight of my year last year.
You feel proud?
It's ridiculous. They're like your kids.
Yeah.
Because they are kids as well. Because they are kids as well. It makes it a little bit different. But like a couple of moments last year just blew my mind. Like I didn't expect to feel that like you shouldn't really be too emotional. But when you've invested that much time, you're gonna. Yeah. So like when Jack and James won, you can see we're all picking them up and screaming, and like there's a picture of us in the back, and we're all laughing, and we have a hug and an embrace and that. And then my sisters win at Sheffield Arena.
Yeah.
Got a nice little video that my mum filmed, and I run into the cage. I run into the cage, throw the towel, throw the bottle of water, and just pick her up. And it's like it's them little moments that make the coaching worth it. But and then we had the girls getting their medals in Rome, and when they stood up onto the podium, like I could literally feel myself crying, and I did, and but I'm quite happy to say that I did. But the fact that they put all that work in and succeeded, like they did pretty well. You know what I mean? So
especially at their age,
and like they all like to maintain the weight. Eating chicken and rice every day. Like no one wants to fucking do that. And like they all had tough fights. Like Jack had a fight against a Kazakhstani lad, and you've seen Jack fight. Like the way he wrestles is quick.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
But he wrestled this Kazakhstani, and he was a wrestler, and it just made him look like it didn't make Jack look shit, but it showed there were levels to it and stuff. You know what I mean? So then he beat a Czech Republican kid in his second fight. So like, it all kind of changes and that and.
So going back to saying that these moments, the positive ones. Has there been times through coaching that you thought shit or felt a bit guilty about putting them in there or?
A few spring to mind. A couple of them weren't when I was fully in charge, so I can't really take the blame. You can't really take the blame until you can do everything you can until they get into the cage or the ring or wherever they're fighting. That's up to them after that. And you shouldn't, like, obviously you're going to feel guilty if they lose, or you're going to feel whatever, especially if it's bad. Like Jack's last fight, like, obviously he won't want me to speak about it, but I'm gonna, so, like, he got knocked out, and it was the most awful feeling I've ever had in my stomach, ever. Yeah. That we were he trained absolutely amazing for the fight. The week before, he fought an 18-year-old, he's 15, he fought an 18-year-old, went all 3 rounds with him. And it were a good performance, really good performance. And then he fought this lad, and he got knocked out. And it was one of them knockouts that you see on videos, on highlight reels, and honestly, it was awful. Like the guilt I had in my stomach, I think I had it for about 2 weeks. You know what I mean? But like that David Paddington, I said who we were training with, he was there that night, and he said to me, he's like, look, the only thing you can control is the training. Until it gets in there. When they get in the cage or the ring or whatever, that's down to them, and it's down to the fight gods. Like whatever happens. But you can experience all the best moments that you ever can, and all the wins, and it can all be great. But you've got to experience the bad things. Yeah, like it's not nice seeing him get knocked out. Obviously, I wouldn't want anyone to get knocked out. But at the end of the day, it happens, and he's safe. He's fine. He's not injured. He wanted to get straight back into training. Obviously, I told him not to. He he had a month of literally only being able to hit pads, which he despises me for. But, you know, it's got to be done.
You're looking after him though, aren't
Yeah, exactly. That's what you've got to do. And there's a lot of people that would literally, after they've been knocked out, is the week later they'd have them sparring.
No.
And that's not safe. You've got to look after your brain. Especially he's only 15. That knockout won't have caused too much damage to him, like in the long run. But if I'd have let him spar straight after, then he could have just, you know...
It's like having a cut on your leg and picking it, really.
Yeah, literally, exactly. Yeah. So, and then there's been a couple, like with our Sam especially, was probably... I did corner him a lot, but it weren't very nice cornering him because obviously it's your brother. It's a kind of different level to it. And he fought a guy called Paul Marion. He was supposed to be in a 4-man tournament, and 2 of the guys missed weight, so that it was a straight final. Sam versus Paul Marion. Sam was the underdog of the whole tournament anyway. He'd only had 3 pro fights. All the rest of them have had probably about 10. This Paul Marion was a Spanish guy, absolute beast. You know what I mean? And we felt mint for it, to be fair. We felt mint for the fight, and Sam were pinging him, spinning elbowing him, everything, and he was winning the fight. And then this slip happened, and Sam fell on his back, and Paul Marion just charged in and trying to punch him, and Sam landed a triangle choke on him, and he had it, and we were just screaming for him to hook the leg, because if you hook the leg, they can't pick you up, they can't slam you. And this Paul Marion just picked him up and power bombed him onto the floor. But then, because he powerbombed him twice, on the first one, he just landed tighter in the triangle choke, which then we were screaming, you know, hook the leg, and he did, like, obviously that slam's gonna, you can't hear us anyway, so, and he picked him up again and he slammed him, and that was the beginning of the end, and he just kept hitting him and elbowing him, and that was probably the worst.
Yeah.
Other than that one with Jack, that's probably the worst I felt.
It's like slow deterioration as well, like feeling powerless, especially when it's your brother.
Yeah, like, exactly. But you've just got to go with the fact that there's literally nothing you can do about it. And if you don't experience the lows, then what's the point of it? You're gonna experience both, and that's why the people with like out of our gym, we don't really like to fight anyone that's shit. Obviously, if you have to, and it is a smart way to do it, if you've got to build them up and whatever. But like, I've got a lot of teenagers. There isn't any shit teenagers now. So they're all going to have tough fights. You know what I mean? Megan's a female. There isn't any journeymen females. So it's not really going to happen. So yeah, it's good. They've all experienced the highs. They've experienced the lows. And it's just having that medium of being able to deal with both. Yeah. If you can't deal with it, then
there's no point doing it.
You've got to deal with defeat. Yeah. Like, you've got to be able to deal with defeat. Whenever I've lost, I've just got up and be like, yeah, fuck it, I'll be right. It's not the end of the world, is it? So that and we've had them discussions after these bad things have happened, and everything's fine. So
as long as you're safe. And
exactly. As long as you're looked after, and I think some fighters don't realise that the people at the gym are the people that care about them. Like when anyone's lost and they've come back in, everyone's there giving them a round of applause, telling them how good they've done.
That's good.
You know, but then at the same time, not blowing smoke up their arse and saying, "Oh mate, if he didn't want you stand up, he didn't want this." You can't give them lies like that, because if you just say, "Oh, he didn't want you stand up," that's just taken away from the fact that they've just lost. Yeah. Like, you've got to be able to, better luck next time. Fucking, unlucky. That's all you can say is, I'm sorry you lost. Like, there's no point in trying to find them an excuse as to why they lost. Exactly. So, yeah, it's just got to be true.
It's like a big family, isn't it, really?
Well, yeah, and if you're not looking after each other, what's the point? Yeah. Because like the people I train will look after me if I'm in a bad spot. Yeah. So if they can do that for me, I've got to do that for them. So, yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
In your fights, was there like, what's that experience like? Because obviously not many people experience that in their lifetime. There's obviously like being hit for the first time and like by a man. Yeah. And is there any sort of...
It's quite fun.
Is it?
Yeah. It's nervous. Whoever says they don't get nervous before a fight is fucking chatting shit to you.
I think it's natural that like...
If you're not nervous, then like it's a weird... It is a weird feeling because you know what you're going in for. You know what you've trained for. But then at the same time, when you get in there, it's completely different. It's completely different to what you think it's going to be. Yeah. Like, pardon me, even the lights and everything, like, it just plays it differently. Like, sparring in the gym is fine, and you can do hard sparring and, simulate a fight. But when you get in the ring, they're not your friend. Like, in here, if I'm sparring with someone and I land a big shot on them, I'll be like, oh, you all right, we'll carry on in a minute. Yeah. In there, no. So if they hit you, they've hit you, that's it. They're going to try and knock you out. But, yeah, I don't know. I always enjoyed fighting. So I did a couple of fights I shouldn't have done. But fuck it.
Have you been like rocked before in the?
Oh mate, I fought a guy called Ahmad Bilal. Our Sam was supposed to fight him, and then Sam pulled out. So I just fought not long before. So fuck it, I'll fight him. It'll be all right. It was a kickboxing fight. So it'll be all right with the same weight. And fucking, I landed a couple of jabs. I landed a couple of leg kicks. Nothing too significant. And he was way too much for me. He was just backing me up in his corner, and he landed this overhand and dropped me. And when I got up, the referee's like, "Are you all right?" And I could literally see out of one eye. So I don't know, like, it hit me behind the ear or whatever. And I could only see out one eye. I was like, well, I can't fucking see. I can't see. So he stopped that. And I think the most fun I've had, I fought a guy called Joe Hughes, who I'm now friends with. Which, that's the best part about fighting. You fight him and then you end up being friends with him.
Yeah.
Like, if you can fight someone and go for a pint with them, that's perfect. Yeah. And we just banged the fuck out of each other for 3 rounds. And yeah, it was weird because I trained for someone else and then turned up to the fight show and I was fighting him. I was like, alright, fair enough. But it's really funny because like I've never had a 6-pack in my life. So I'm stood there, I've got no chest, I've just got my cornrows and like a little podgy belly, and he's there like ripped. He's got muscles on top of muscles. And I'm just like, yeah, Sam. So like, but like in that moment, I thought I was gonna fucking bottle it because I saw him and I knew how good he was, and I was like, I think, what if it don't go right? Then we just fucking banged the shit out of each other for 3 rounds and then shook it out, and we're all good. But I think I'd much rather corner a fight than do a fight.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like as much as I have a lot of control in a fight, I'd rather guide someone else while they're doing a fight.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. Yeah. But I'm that involved in MMA, it's kind of it's getting a little bit numb, so it's all fine.
Yeah.
None of it's really phasing anymore.
I mean, you must have.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, actually, yeah. But you must have seen hundreds of fights. I mean, with your commentating and your CH Productions and stuff like that. Like.
Yeah, CH Productions has brought me on to fucking loads of shit now.
Yeah,
it's mad. I don't think I've paid for a fight show in a while, so that's good.
That's it.
In fact, no, I paid for the UFC and that fucking sprung me out. So, yeah, it's seeing that many fights. It kind of like it doesn't numb you, obviously.
Yeah,
like, everything's different, but it's just certain things that can happen, and you can watch a fight and realise, like with commentating, you can kind of lead on to what you know is going to happen. Like if you know someone's a wrestler and you know their techniques, their patterns of what they do in a fight, and that helps. The commentating side of things helps me coach because I can watch people, see their patterns, and be like, right, so that's what they do here, blah blah blah, and figure it out and dissect it. So
I've noticed that in your commentating, you very good with your language, considering you're not very experienced in it.
That's probably just from watching it, really. Like I'm quite comfortable with talking anyway, unless I'm sat in front of a camera directly. But like talking to you guys is easy because it's just conversation, isn't it? So commentating, my first commentating gig, as much as I enjoyed it, it was fucking awful.
Really?
Like, I'm trying to put on a voice that I've not got. I've not got the broadest of Yorkshire accents, but it is quite Yorkshire.
Yeah.
And I was trying to like make it not Yorkshire. And I listened to it back and I hated it. I hated listening to it. So then every show since, I've just spoke. And doing it with Danny Missing, he's just as Yorkshire as I am. He's probably more Yorkshire than I am.
Because when you think of like commentating, instantly it's like a down south accent. Like the guy who did your BKB documentary.
Yeah, Mr. Brian Lacey. Yeah, he's the man.
That's like what I think of like stereotype commentary.
Yeah, but I think because especially with me and Danny Missing, we're the resident commentators for Almighty, and like because it's a Yorkshire show, why not have Yorkshire people doing the commentary, and we just bounce off each other. It's great. I love it.
How did it come about getting onto the commentating?
I'm just friends with Ray and Steve who run Almighty.
And you were just like,
and they asked me.
Oh, they asked you.
Well, Danny Missing was the commentator at the time with Chris Clark, and Danny was fighting on the show, and Chris Clark couldn't do the show, so they were looking for 2 new commentators. Literally everyone on my Facebook were tagging me in it, so fuck it, I'll give it a go, it'll be alright. It was really funny, I did loads of research, I had all these notes and everything, and every time now I just turn up. I just turn up, no notes, no nothing. Unless it's a big one, obviously, but on Almighty, they have a lot of returning fighters, so you know them from the last show anyway. So, yeah, I've done a couple of kickboxing shows here and there, a couple of different shows, but Almighty is the main one.
Yeah.
And that is literally, it's just people you know. And anybody who says it's any different is lying to you. Like, hard work is good, don't get me wrong, but if you know people, it's much easier.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, much easier.
Yeah.
That's
on
why
a holiday. Whoa!
Yeah. But like CH Productions, like I started that in 2016, I think. Just literally, I made a highlight reel for RSAM, and I made a highlight reel for the gym, which to this day is my favourite video I've ever made.
Is that the boys are back?
The boys are back.
I was watching that earlier.
Love that one. But like, it just started as a thing. I didn't have CH Productions then. I was just making videos on iMovie. And so I did that, and then I got my first paid gig with Almighty, 50 quid.
Oh,
which I'm well happy. 50 quid for about frigging too many hours of work.
Yeah, it is long.
But I remember back when I first started, I was trying to be too fancy with things, and you don't need to be. Like, make it nice and simple.
Yeah,
But yeah, and then that kind of blew up with Rico, CH Productions. I was just making highlight videos for people and did a bit of filming for some fight shows and made a couple of videos, which were all well and good, but came on board with Rico. I made a video for Rico and then became a sponsor for him. I just asked him, look, do you want a sponsor? I'll do all your media work for you, any videos that you want doing, and became friends with him with that. And then he went into the prize fight tournament. He got into the final, and I just had a message off of Danny Mitchell, his coach, who, going back to the MMA coaching side of things, that's the guy that you want to, I won't say look up to, but someone that you want to, try and emulate as a coach, because for me, he's the best coach in the UK. There's a couple of them. Him and Andrew Fisher for me are two of the best, like top pro level coaches in the UK. But he messaged me anyway, saying, "Oh look, we should do a," because in the semi final he left up, knocked out Conor Tierney in like 30 seconds or something, sparked him out, and he sent me a voice message on the way home, and he was like, "Oh look, we should. I think you should make a Snatch style video. You know the film Snatch." He's like, "Oh, you should make a Snatch now video, blah blah blah," and I'm like, "Yeah, no worries, mate, I'll sort it." And literally the next day, without any input or anything, we made that video, and it went it boomed up. Everyone was sharing it. It went everywhere, and it was just a funny little video. And it's like 10 seconds long or something, but that went everywhere. And then we just had the idea of documenting the final, and then obviously you helped me with that anyway, and it was fucking the biggest task I've ever taken in my life, and it were all off my own back as well, which I can be quite proud of. Yeah. Because if I was to charge someone for it, I'd fucking make a lot of money. I'd make a lot of money. Rico knows.
You went back for a second day of filming, didn't you?
Yeah, Rico knows that anyway. So, but the thing with Rico is, like we said earlier, he's that much of a nice guy. He appreciates it. Yeah. And like after he had the fight and everything, he's sponsored by a CBD company. He sent me some in the post. He sent me some money as well, which I didn't ask him for any money, but he sent me some. Sent me the CBD and that, and and then that brought us on to. I then did Cage Steel's work last year, or the end of last year for their last show, which everyone fucking loved. So I'm happy with that. But with Rico, we then became friends with Josh Gudgeon, obviously, who you know. And he did the second part of the Rico documentary series. So then when he finally gets the rematch with
that's awesome,
Sweeney, after beating Sweeney, loads of people keep saying that he was losing the fight until the cut. Don't matter if you were. He fucking beat him. So that third part, me and Josh are going to work together on that as a collab. So that should be interesting. We just need to get they need to get the fight because they've given Sweeney someone else now. So
I saw that. Yeah.
I think he's just scared, but
I
mean, I'm not going to say that to him because he'll fucking beat me up. But, for me, for Rico, I just don't think he wants to fight again with Rico. Yeah. But if they do, Rico will beat him again anyway, so it don't matter. And we'll be documenting it. So, it should be fun. Cool. But CH Productions kind of blew up now. It's good. Don't get me wrong, it's fucking keeping me busy as well as the gym. I'm constantly doing something. But I can't complain with it. I'm happy with it. I get to work for myself. So
and I've slowly seen you improve over from your first highlight videos to the ones recently. Whoa,
the difference is unreal. With especially the highlight videos, everything's onto a beat or something. You know what I mean? Everything to the music. Whereas before it was just a piece of music, here's some videos. And now it's just practicing it. You just got to keep practicing.
So the more you do it, the
yeah,
better you're gonna get.
But like we were saying before the podcast actually started about faking it till you make it, I'm still fucking faking it, but it's working. It's working, so I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain at all. Yeah. But that's just the stage production side. I'm not faking the gym.
Of course
not faking the gym part.
No, it won't be a good idea.
No, yeah, the stage production side of things, you've just got to keep on learning. And if you're not learning, then what's the point? And it's quite. It coincides well with MMA because if you're not learning, then you're stuck. Yeah. And if you're stuck, you ain't going to improve. So and if you don't improve, then you end up being shit. Yeah. So, and that's not what we want. Yeah. So, yeah, it's taken me onto good pastures. I'm happy. It's good. It's good stuff.
You got any upcoming shows that you wanted to get to? And
any shows that want any work doing, they can have me. Yeah. All my prices are out on Instagram anyway.
Yeah, I'll put them.
Regarding filming, CH Productions, I've not got much in the pipelines at the moment. I've got a couple of things I want to do. But the gym is my main focus at the moment anyway. Yeah. Got Megan fighting on Almighty. Young Cameron Jackson's got his first kickboxing fight in March, which he's excited for.
Where's that at?
It's just in Sheffield, it's a small local show. I might bring you to that actually. It'd be quite fun. But yeah, he's got his first kickboxing fight, and then we're just going from there really. I've not got much lined up for the year. Jack's got a grappling comp next Saturday. His first grappling competition actually, so see if we can get some gold there. That'll be fun. And then the SUB people, the SUB Alliance, Steel Evolution, the Unit and Body Tough. We've got 11 people fighting on that Almighty show. So yeah, no commentating for me that night. I'll be cornering 11 people, so it's gonna be a bit busy. Shout out to my main man Oscar Owensworth in the co-main event as well.
Such a nice guy as well.
Yeah, it should be a fun start to the year.
Yeah,
very fun start to the year.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you for coming on. I think we'll wrap it there.
I do appreciate it.
Yeah, it's all right. My pleasure. We'll share it everywhere.
Yeah, cheers.
It's all right. And follow them and like them and subscribe them. Do the same for me.
Yeah,
please.
Yeah, follow the Unit MMA
and the Unit.
And CH Productions Co on Instagram.
Yeah, really exciting fights from the Unit as well. You won't be.
Yeah, get your tickets. Almighty, 22nd of February.
Even if you're not a fight fan, like you'll watch it and you'll be entertained. So yeah.
Thanks for having me, lads. I appreciate it.
Yeah, cheers. We'll have to get you on when you got fight. Like,
I'll come into the studio, the proper studio.
Yeah. You'll have to.
Yeah. But we're gonna try and get Ryan more involved with filming with the gym and everything. Anyway. So
yeah, I've got.
You'll see us.
Something coming up with one of the fighters, I think.
There we go.
Yeah.
There's your plug.
Yeah. All right.
Cheers, guys.
So cheers.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Bye.